What's possible in your life when you don't rush?
Okay, so what's possible in your life? All right, so I had this amazing experience many, many years ago, and it was something that was like very trivial to most people, but I describe it as the best detour I've ever taken in my life. I was supposed to go meet up with my best friend out in the Hamptons. We were living in the city at the time, and I ended up taking the wrong train. It was the LIRR, it splits up to the North Fork and one to the South Fork, and I got on the wrong one. And at the time, I had just moved back to New York, and I was just uptight and just a miserable human being, to be quite honest with you. Just very stereotypical New York. If anything went wrong, I would freak out. And I found out I was on the wrong train. I got all mad or whatever, got to the last stop, had to figure out how to get to the South Fork, did all of that. I ended up having to take this ferry to the other fork. I don't remember if it was the north or the south, I can't even remember right now. But I got on the ferry, and it was such a beautiful day out. And the sun was just kind of like just beaming off of the water, and it was perfect weather. It was like 85 degrees, and I just found myself in a moment where I was like, this is just beautiful. And for a moment, I was just able to like separate myself from who I was normally and just live in the moment, in that one present moment, which is something that I never used to really do. And so we get to the other side, and now the challenge became getting a cab, because New York City, you can catch a cab anywhere, but I'm out there in Long Island. And I stop at the little like ferry station over there, and the guy behind the counter, I'm like, listen, I need a car service. Do you have a car service? He's like, yeah. I'll call one for you. So 20 minutes later, I'm there, and I'm still kind of riding high off of this ferry trip. And this 1970-something Buick pulls up with this girl who was like just chilling behind the wheel, just like this, with a cigarette like hanging out of her mouth, blasting Janis Joplin, Like the shit was so, it was just classic, And I got in the car, and she just looks at me, and she's like, so where we going, darling? And I told her, and it was just one of those moments. Like once I got in the car, and she was driving me through like this little fairy tale town, it was so perfect. I just had a moment to reflect, and I thought to myself, this has got to be the best detour I've ever been on in my life, And it was just one of those moments that it made me really kind of stop and think and just be okay and be present and not worry about being late or having to be at the next spot. It was just one of those moments, and here I am almost 10 years later still remembering it. And I still sometimes have to remind myself of that moment. So that's what happens when you don't rush life. You catch those moments in time where it's like, wow, this is actually pretty fly.
Thank you.